Our Sunday plan is already complete, as if Bitcoin broke above that local resistance that we shared on Sunday, personally, I did want to see a move straight up to take out this double top around $64,500. And as you can see, we broke above that resistance, we even got a retest, and then we got that move up above this double top into our resistance, and today we are seeing a bit of a rejection. So with that said, as usual, a bit of a recap of what I did inside the Discord and then what you can expect next. Well, it was fairly simple on Monday when I woke up, even though we did have a bit of volume with a 4-hour imbalance up there, as we had broken above my resistance. Personally, I still wanted to see the bullish plan, okay? So I only talked about the bullish plan, not about the bearish plan, and I still wanted to see it play out simply because once again we had broken our resistance, even though the volume was not ideal. That's what ended up happening. We did get the continuation higher into the double top, and then after that, when we reached into resistance, I took my short position. I did send it inside the general chat that I took my short position because, well, the volume was very good. Okay, so very quickly, I took the short. The volume was good. The timing is good. It was a potential for a Monday pivot, which is somewhat playing out for now. The level was good and the reaction was good. And before going to sleep, as you can see, I cut pretty much the exact high of the move. I put a stop loss right at the high, which for me is pretty much already a break-even trade if I get stopped out. So right now I am still in this short position as we have not taken out the high and my stop loss remains once again at the high. So going back over to the chart, we can now hide this resistance. What can you expect next? So very quickly, we did get the move higher. For those of you who don't know, we did have extremely nice volume, especially on Binance, as we had a third or actually a fourth 4-hour imbalance up there right into our resistance. The resistance is not here, but if you take the double top, as you can see, we swept it with a 4-hour imbalance and we got the rejection to the downside. So it was extremely good volume, a very good reaction. Of course, the timing for a Monday pivot is still there. However, right now, what can we expect next? Well, personally, of course, ideally, I would still like to see lower prices. Even locally, not just because of the resistance, but what do we have below us? We have a partially filled 1-hour imbalance right there at 63.9, which is also a partially filled 30-minute imbalance. So as we have a partial fill below us, in my opinion, that is already a good confluence to expect lower prices today, at least towards this level. So if you don't want to take this level, you can just take this liquidity. And when you see the sweep, then of course I will talk about what I'm personally looking at. But that's a level that I'm personally going to take first. So here I'm looking at one of two things locally. Either the high is in, which would be ideal because personally I am in the short already from the high. So the high is in and we get the drop from there, okay, to fill this partially filled hourly imbalance. On the other hand, of course, we could get another sweep today. Would not be ideal, but still you have to be aware of it in case we get another sweep and then come back down. Even though I would get stopped out of my short position, that would pretty much be a break-even trade. If we get a reaction, I will go for a second short position. But once again, the resistance is there. The volume was very good, so that's why I'm not the biggest fan of seeing another sweep to the upside, even though with this job that we have been seeing over the past few weeks, that would be possible. But then we move on to the levels below, which is this one. Here, once again, I'm looking at two things. Either we get the drop, we get very nice volume, and we get a reaction, in which case I will be interested, in hedging my short position with a long position. So very simply, it would look something like this. Short from the high, my stop loss is already in, so that is my short. Okay, that wouldn't be a take profit, but you could take this as a first target. But then for the long, that would be the hedge. You take it, that's a short, my bad. So you take the long right there as a hedge. Stop loss probably below this low, I would say. And of course, the target would be back above this high. However, this long is once again only based on the reaction because this isn't the biggest level. The main reason that I'm that I could be interested in opening a long position is one, of course, if we have good volume, but two, simply as a quick hedge to my short, as you can see, the stop loss is pretty tight. Okay, the invalidation for this trade would be, at least in my opinion, below this candle low. Okay, now on the other hand, if we break below this, I will not be interested in another hedge. Okay, but the biggest sign of weakness would be losing this 12-hour imbalance, which is also a 4-hour imbalance. So if you go on the 1 hour, we have a bit of an order block, as you can see. So that would be, it has already been tested a bit, but still I would take this area, and that would be your second support. Once again, I mean, if we don't get a reaction there, maybe I will still go for a hedge. But overall, in my view, the more interesting level is around 63.8, 63.9. However, if we lose it, this is not yet when I would call for a break of these lows at 62.5. But as soon as we lose this level around 63.5, this is when, in my view, well, we have pretty good chances of coming back down back towards these lows at 62.5. So with all of that said, that was mainly it for this update. However, I do want to do a quick recap because I did talk about a couple of things. Personally, I am short with a stop loss at the high, which for me is pretty much a break-even trade as my entry is pretty much near the high. From there, I am looking at lower prices. So either we get one more sweep and then we come back down. Even though this isn't my favorite plan, this is still something that you should be aware of. On the other hand, what I'm looking for primarily is a jump from here as the volume was very good. So we get the jump from here to fill this partially filled imbalance that we have below us at 63.8. From there, if we have a reaction, we could look for a hedge long in case the support ends up holding and we get a reversal higher. On the other hand, if we lose that level, we have a more important support for this uptrend, because if we drop and it bounces, once again, this still could be a hedge long, so just keep that in mind. However, if we lose it, which personally, honestly, would be my ideal scenario, I've talked about this inside the Sunday plan, but I would like to see lower prices from here as this volume was very good. So ideally, we do break both of these resistance supports, and as soon as we break below this support around 63.5, this is when I would say, of course, we will look for that break below this triple bottom at $62,200. So with that said, as usual, if you guys enjoyed this update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.